Good evening, students. Today we are going to deal with the abdominal regions. It's a part of anatomy only, but here we are going to deal about the genetics portion. That is the second part of pharmacology, pathology, and genetics. So here we are going to deal with the genetics portion. So here I will teach you about the regions, abdominal regions. These are you can see these are divided into 6 quadrants. So these are, first one is the right hypochondriac region, then second one is the epigastric region, then left hypochondriac region, right lumbar region, umbilical region, left lumbar region, right iliac fossa, hypogastric, left iliac fossa. So these are the abdominal regions. We must know the divisions of the abdominal region. Then the second one is I want to teach you is that the abruptio placentae. What is abruptio placentae? The abruptio placenta is the accidental and premature separation of part or all of a normally situated placenta prior to delivery, which results in bleeding that may be revealed, concealed, or a combination of both. So it is the accidental and premature separation. Premature means the baby is not enough mature, not have get the 37 weeks of gestation period. So it's premature, and it's in that situation only there is separation of all of a normally situated placenta prior to delivery, which results in bleeding. So during placental delivery, the placenta may separate, so it may result the bleeding that may be revealed, concealed, or combination of both. That may be revealed or may be expressed, or concealed, may be hidden, and may be the combination of both. So fetal distress, it may lead to fetal distress. It may be mild or severe, or may lead to intrauterine death. So let's see. Here you can see the figure. Here you can see the figure, that is your placental, abruptio placental, where you see the two conditions where there is a baby, and in this figure some bleeding, sometimes the placenta is disrupted and bleeding may occur in the second one, and in the first one the baby is in correct position. So normally the baby will be like this, placenta will not be disrupted, but in abruptio placenta the blood may be coming out from the vaginal area, which may cause the fetal distress. Now we will learn about the word of the day. I want to teach you some words of the day that are, you can see on the screen. First one is the Act of Parliament. It is the process by which an intended action passes through the lower and upper houses of Parliament and receives royal assent to become law. The first Midwives Act of 1902 legalized midwifery and gave midwives the status of professional. So we are going to deal with the gene part, especially the maternal part. So maternal and child part. So this Act of Parliament was given in relation to the midwifery. Now we will learn about the ACTH. What is ACTH? ACTH is an adrenocorticotropic hormone which is secreted by anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Its target being the adrenal cortex, where it stimulates the production of corticosteroid. So adrenocorticotropic hormone is a hormone which is secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is having a lobe, so the anterior part of the anterior lobe is secreting that hormone, and its target is being the adrenal cortex. That hormone goes to the adrenal cortex, where it stimulates the production of corticosteroid, and when it goes to the adrenal cortex, it stimulates the production of the corticosteroid hormone. Now we will talk about the actinism. ACTINISM. What is actinism? The ability of sunlight and ultraviolet radiation to cause chemical changes in the skin. This occurs when jaundiced neonates are exposed to sunlight or UV light. The bile pigment in the skin is broken down. Means when the child is or the infant is exposed to the sunlight, newly born child is exposed to sunlight or UV light, then the ability of that sunlight or UV light is causing the chemical changes in the skin of that baby, especially the jaundiced neonates. You can see. So here what happened? The bile pigment in the skin is broken down. So that may lead to the condition called as actinism, which is an abnormality of the skin only. Then we will deal about the active immunity. What is active immunity? It's a resistance to disease resulting from exposure by infection or vaccination. So what is we gain by vaccinating? The immunity developed inside our body to fight against the disease is called as active immunity. Then active labor, the process by which the strong contraction cause the cervix to dilate the fetus and to pass through the birth canal. It is active labor is a word. It is a process by which there are strong contractions produced outside of the uterine wall, and cervix causes cervix to dilate so that the fetus or the baby can pass through the birth canal to have the normal delivery. Then active listening. This is required in every area, because if we are not listening properly, how we can gain knowledge? So active listening, it's a series of questions, nods and other non-verbal signs that a midwife uses to encourage parents to continue talking or clarifying their thoughts following an event or during decision making, and it is an essential part of enabling the informed choice. Means it's a series of questions, or nodding means we are nodding our head up and down, etc. So in this way it's used, and here what happened, here is midwives use these signs to encourage the patient to continue the talking. Means if we are talking with the patient and patients are not able to understand or whatever they are saying, so we have to nod our head like this so that they may gain confidence and they may express their thoughts clearly, and then we can make a proper decision. It is an initial part of the enabling informed choice. Then the next one is, I will teach you about the prenatal testing and diagnosis. Prenatal is the baby, when the baby is not born, then what are the prenatal testings and diagnosis we should done? That's the thing I should teach you. Prenatal testing and diagnosis. Prenatal testing and diagnosis refers to the tests that are done during pregnancy to screen for or diagnose for a birth defect. And the main goal of prenatal genetic testing is to provide families with information to make informed choice about pregnancy and reproductive and to assist the healthcare providers in providing the best care and management of the woman during pregnancy. So prenatal testing and diagnosis are the important things, and these are done so that we can see the chances of being aborted of child or premature child or any other condition that may lead complications in the pregnancy, so it can be previously diagnosed and tested and the baby can be protected. So some prenatal testing, screen tests, they cannot diagnose a birth defect, they cannot form a birth defect or any congenital abnormalities. So, but only they can determine that the fetus has a high or low risk of particular problem. They can only tell the chances of problem according to the baby. One example can be that maternal serum test. Maternal serum screening test for alpha fetoprotein is conducted for identifying pregnancy at high risk for open neural tube defects, Down syndrome, trisomy 18, etc. These screen tests do not always define a prenatal diagnostic or and may be able to show the probability of problem within the fetus. Means these may only show the probability of fetus of getting the disease. They may not identify the disease. So the next in the other prenatal tests and diagnosis can be diagnose their certain fetal problems within a high degree of accuracy. Some other prenatal tests are there or diagnostic findings are there which can diagnose the fetal problems with a high degree of accuracy. Means accurately it can diagnose. Like amniocentesis is an example of prenatal diagnostic test performed of amniotic fluid surrounding which developing the fluid surrounding the developing baby during the pregnancy. So this is the thing. As the fetus grow and shed cells, those cells can be found on the amniotic fluid and can be used to study chromosomes. This test identifies fetal chromosome abnormalities. If, for example, an extra chromosome 21 is seen, diagnosed as Down syndrome. Means some prenatal tests are there, diagnostic findings are there, like amniocentesis is there. So it can find the problem or the disease which are causing damage to the amniotic fluid, or it can be used to study the chromosome, like it can use to see the extra chromosome 21 is seen, so diagnosis will be the Down syndrome. What is the purpose of prenatal testing and diagnosis? Let's see. Sorry for this. Purpose of prenatal testing and diagnosis. One main thing you should know that amniocentesis is the invasive procedure. That I will tell you in the latter part what is invasive and non-invasive. Purpose of prenatal diagnosis? It is to enable timely medical and surgical treatment of a condition before or after birth, to give the parents the chance to abort the fetus within the diagnosed condition, to give parents the chance to prepare for the baby with a healthy problem or disability for likelihood of a stillbirth. Having this information in advance of the birth means that healthcare staff can better prepare themselves and parents for the delivery of the child within the health problem. It is if any medical or surgical treatment is needed before or after birth, it can be identified or made the decisions. Parents have the chance to abort the baby if baby condition is not diagnosed well. Then it has the parents giving chance to prepare the baby for health problem related disease can be curated, or like the baby is stillbirth means baby is already dead inside the body. Having this information in advance of the birth means the healthcare staff can better prepare themselves and parents for delivery of the child and health problem. And through this the delivery system of the baby can also be done in a good way by healthcare staff. Now we will deal with the indications of prenatal testing and diagnosis. In general, the genetic testing is offered to couples or individuals identified as being of high risk for a particular genetic problem. Yeah, genetic testing is offered only those parents those are having particular gene problem. Some of the risk factors of the healthcare providers consider are deciding who should be offered the testing. Means they should decide the testing should include family history, medical history, ethnicity. Prenatal diagnosis is therefore offered to all pregnant women if they have positive antenatal screening test. Yes, if they are having positive antenatal screening test, so they have to be perform all these prenatal tests, and they have to collect the staff will collect the family history, medical history, and all those things. Some women may be offered a definitive prenatal diagnosis from the outset without any preceding screening test. For example, family means without any screening test, they may be identified as a prenatal diagnosis that will be not needing the screening test. Like example, family history of an inherited condition, mental retardation or birth defect, history of previous pregnancy with fetal abnormality. Like previous pregnancy was having fetal abnormality, so it does not need any screening test because it was previous pregnancy, so it will be already noted that diagnosis. Mother has been exposed to viral illness such as toxoplasmosis or rubella during pregnancy. Mother has been exposed to tetragens. Tetragens are the toxins, cancer-causing agents such as drugs or radiation during pregnancy. Woman has type 1 diabetes mellitus, epilepsy. Epilepsies are like seizures. It's causing on insulin-dependent child only, or myotonic dystrophy. Women 35 or older are pregnant, are planning to become pregnant. Abnormal ultrasound findings. Couples who are close blood relatives such as first cousins. Ethnicity, for example, Asians have higher risk of sickle cell anemia. Unexplained or multiple miscarriages. Positive maternal serum screening tests such as alpha fetoprotein tetra, then positive maternal serum screening test. The primary aim of the prenatal diagnosis is to provide accurate diagnosis that will allow the widest possible range of informed choice to those who have increased risk of having children with genetic disorders or congenital abnormalities. The accurate diagnosis will be provided on the basis of screening test so that the congenital abnormalities can be treated. So till here I will finish. Will teach you the next thing in the next class.